I went to 5 different colleges because I sucked at school. So in high school, I had a 3.5. I really coasted. Then once I got to college, I was in for a rude awakening. Like, I was going to the pool every day. I was going to the gym, going in the lake. Like, I did not prioritize school at all. Didn't go to class, and I ended up with a 1.8 GPA. Then I had to go to Palm Beach State College. That was at Florida Gulf Coast. Then I had to go to Palm Beach State College in Boca to get my GPA back up. Then I went to a community college in Jacksonville to live with my friends over the summer. Then I went to another community college in South Carolina when my parents decided to move to South Carolina for like 2 months. I didn't even finish that semester because, to be honest, like coming from Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, it was very like a different pace. And I was just like, I'm homesick. I need to go home. So I ended up going back to Palm Beach State College to get my grades up from that 1.8 GPA. And then once I got my associates, I got into FAU, and then I started taking like 5 or 6 classes a semester. Like, I was like, let's throw this into gear, like, let's get this done. Because to be honest, I almost dropped out. And the reason I didn't is because I had the privilege of my mom saving and investing in Florida Prepaid, and that's what paid for my college. So I was like, people would kill for this opportunity to not have to pay for student loans. So like, how can I just squander this just because I don't feel like going to class, you know? So I really got my shit together and I pulled it together. I was taking 2 internships. I ended up working full-time my last semester of school as a pharmaceutical rep because I knew that like the field I was getting into, which is medical device sales, was super competitive. So I'm like, how do I set myself apart? I'm hearing that people are getting like really low salaried entry-level jobs when they get out of college right now. So how do I set myself up? And that was with internships. And then, like I said, working full-time in pharma sales. But by the time I graduated, I had magna cum laude. I had a 3.89 GPA just from like, just going into that like high gear and like changing my mindset and just realizing like, it's not gonna be a cakewalk. Like, it is hard, but it's temporary. And taking a lot of public speaking classes, storytelling classes, international diplomacy. I competed, like we went to go visit the UN with like 31 students. And you would just have to like read a bunch of stuff and give speeches really quick. And that I think helped me a lot, just talking to people, doing social media, stuff like that. But yeah, I was not a school person by any means. I was one of those people who was like, I'm not a school person. It's not my thing. I don't like tests. Like, I'm not a test taker. Those are all kind of like excuses I was telling myself when I really just wasn't working hard enough to get the grades that I should have been getting in the first place, to be honest. But when people talk about like whether college is worth it or not, I mean, again, like I was in a very privileged situation, but I do feel like it made me grow as a person and like mature. Whereas if I had dropped out when I was 18 to do real estate, which is what I was gonna do, which is what I do now, I wouldn't have been as successful because I was not mature enough to show up the way I show up now. I was just like, didn't care, you know? And now I care like so much. So sometimes it's just the time of your life and the mindset, and it's not really you as a person. It's just like you giving yourself excuses. In that case, I was giving myself excuses, which is why I ended up going to 5 different colleges.